Things are certainly not looking good for Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz with regards to the ongoing investigation, basically into his sex life and whether or not he was having sex with underage women, moving them across state lines to have sex with them. Those are all questions that investigators are trying to get to the bottom of. And of course, they've got his good buddy, Joel Greenberg, who was once described as his wingman in federal custody. And what happened this week was Greenberg's lawyers asked the courts, could you please delay his sentencing yet again, because they've already delayed it once, delay it again because he has so much more cooperating with federal prosecutors to do. And, it makes it a little bit harder to do that when he's stuck behind bars. So please just wait because we've got even more. 2 months ago, they got another extension. That was their first extension. So 2 months ago, prosecutors in the case were getting such good information from Joel Greenberg, Matt Gaetz' wingman, that they agreed to this. And they said, yeah, keep him out of jail. We're getting good stuff. Now, of course, as of right now, we do not have word on whether or not this new extension is going to be granted, extension delay, whatever you want to call it. So he may end up going to jail right now, but he may not. Greenberg, that is. But what we do know is that prosecutors wouldn't even be entertaining this idea if if Joel Greenberg wasn't giving them gold. The question that remains is whether that gold involves Matt Gaetz. Now, we also know about a week or two ago, Matt Gaetz started lawyering up, hiring people who are, essentially experts in defending the kind of behavior that Matt Gaetz is being investigated for. Not exactly a good look for Matt Gaetz. So could the walls and the feds finally be closing in on Matt Gaetz? We don't have a definitive answer for that. All we can give is opinions and analysis on available information. And based on what we know, I am inclined to say yes. Now, don't hold me to that, because again, I am basing this on available information. However, as we all know, getting actual indictments against a person in a position of power like a sitting congressman is insanely difficult and exceptionally rare here in the United States. That will not necessarily mean that Gaetz is innocent or guilty. It just means that powerful people, as we all know, typically don't get prosecuted. But the information that has become publicly available, right? The Venmo transactions. Matt Gaetz even admitting I was paying tuition for some of these young ladies who couldn't pay for their tuition, giving them money, all of that kind of stuff. Greenberg talking about meeting up with Matt Gaetz to these women and then asking, hey, do you like drugs? Yeah. The evidence that's publicly available would seem to indicate that Matt Gaetz did it. But we don't know what else is out there. We don't know if there was the follow through, right? Because that's the thing we have to be able to prove, or the prosecutors have to be able to prove. I don't have to prove anything. I'm not on the case. But the prosecutors have to be able to prove that it went beyond just conversations between Greenberg and these women. Greenberg would have to be able to provide actual evidence that Matt Gaetz did the things that were suggested in those text message conversations. So maybe that's what Greenberg is giving up to prosecutors. Or maybe it's not related to Matt Gaetz at all. Matt Gaetz was not mentioned in the Greenberg indictments, but there were 5 individuals who were listed as potential co-conspirators who were not named. Gaetz could be one of the 5. He could be none of the 5. We don't know who the other 4 could possibly be. They could be other powerful people here in the state of Florida, or they could be random nobodies that, could be involved in trafficking. And that could be why this is taking so long. And that would have nothing to do really with Matt Gaetz if he's not one of those individuals. So there are a lot of things at play here. But based on what I see, I do believe it's starting to get tight for Matt Gaetz, and I don't think he would have lawyered up if he didn't think so too.